The first thing that came to my mind, you know when you love someone, you say you're going to do anything for that person. You say you can't live without that person. But when it comes to your career and the things that you're passionate about, that is the real question that I want to ask you. Would you actually give up what you love and a career which you may hate as well for someone that you actually love? For example, you're in a relationship with someone, you've known someone for a short amount of time, you've known someone for a long amount of time, and you start to trust that person more than you trust yourself. When someone else makes a decision, you decide to go along with it because you want that person to be happy with you, you want that person to spend all the time with you. Let me say something that's very important. When you love someone, you have to give someone space. And I had to learn that the hard way, because if it was me a few years ago, I would have been like, I want to spend time with that person only. I want that person all to myself. In order for both people to grow, they need to grow individually. When it comes to two people, they can have open conversations, they can go to new places, they can talk about anything that really comes to their mind. You have to understand, when it comes to your career and something that you love, you shouldn't really give that up so easily. You shouldn't give that up unless you want to do that for yourself. And I know I'm going to get some people that disagree with me, because when it comes to someone that you love, you want to be with that person. But in a way, it is selfish, because the reason why I'm saying it's selfish to actually be with someone all the time is because you stop that person from growing, you stop that person from meeting new people. And when it comes to something that you're passionate about, and when it comes to something that is your career, for example, you worked hard to get to that point. It may have taken you days, it could have taken you months, years. And that person, they met you during the beginning or at the middle. If that person is the one for you, they're going to support you. And they're not going to make you feel bad for wanting to pursue your career, because you're going to meet new people all over again. You're basically moving your career from one place to another, and it's a completely new environment for you. But also you're doing it for someone else, but then would they do the same thing for you? When it comes to your career, you're trying to gain people's respect, you're doing the things that you said you're going to do. And for example, the promises that you keep to yourself, sometimes you don't do it. But when it comes to your career, you always fulfill it. You're the one that wants to do the best at your job. But then when it comes to yourself, you don't really focus on yourself. When it comes to this video, it does truly depend on the situation. Because for example, you could have a family with someone else. And then because you have a family with someone else, you're willing to take the whole family to somewhere else just because of like a new career. But then also, you could be like in your early 20s, you could be going to a different city, you're basically splitting up. But then if that person was for you, all those years would have went by and you're still thinking about that person. This video is a reminder of different situations that people can face, but it comes to like a similar outcome. Because the main points of this video is that you need to trust the person that you're with, to communicate what you want, and to understand that giving up your career and something that you're passionate about is not an easy decision. It's not an easy decision for you, and it's not an easy decision for someone else. And when you spend so much time with that person, you actually get to know that person more. And the things that you want from the very beginning, it's very important that it doesn't change. And if it does change, it's because you're either wrong and that person taught you a new way of how to look at things. But you want it to be that what you both want is very similar. The person that has a higher income, it depends on what job you're doing, for example. It could be very flexible where they can move from one place to another. But let's say they can't and they become more busy. Are you willing to make that person's life more easier? Where is it that you want to take people? What is it that you will do for people? And the list can go on, but it's very important that if you really think that person is the one for you, it will come up sooner or later, where a decision has to happen, but you both have to be on the same page. Because you don't want it to be where it's one-sided, that one person is giving up their passions, one person is giving up their career. And when they give up their career, they're solely depending on someone else. And when it comes to really career opportunities, it can make people have more freedom, it can make their life easier, they can do things without really thinking about how much money things are. It's hard for some people to give up their career and their passions. And once they do, it's like they're losing bits of themselves. So that's why when it comes to really giving up your career and your passions for someone else, you have to actually trust that person. And it's not something that lasts forever, because if it's something that lasts forever and it's not what you want, you're just going to have to address it in a conversation, because you don't want it to be that one person is always giving up their career, always giving up their passions, and then it keeps happening over and over again. Because when is it your time to be successful? When is it your time to get the wins that you've been doing over time? And when is it your time that someone else is going to be happy for you? Here is what I'm going to say now, because if you give up your career and your passions for someone else, besides that person, what are you really chasing? And I do get it, you're supposed to attract opportunities to you. You want to become a high value person. But at the same time, if an opportunity was right there, would you not take it? That is what happens when you give up your career and your passions for someone else, because you miss opportunities. You miss opportunities to meet the right person. You miss opportunities to try new things. You miss opportunities to really put yourself out there. And when it comes to you having passions and career, it's because your face starts to light up. You start to do the things that you want. And when you're normally having conversations with people, you start to look forward to it more, because it's something that you actually enjoy. This is my final point that I'm going to say. So for example, let's say you do a 9 to 5 and you're in a permanent job and you don't see yourself doing anything else because it's harder for you to get another job, because you spend so much time in a job that you're not really progressing. And I just wanted to say this because, for example, you're in a job just to get by. It's mostly for survival. And I just wanted to say this and give you perspective on this, because if your passions no longer feel like passions and you hate your career, you hate your job, and the only time that you're happy throughout your day is when you get to see your partner. And for example, let's say your partner has a bad day and then they take it out on you. You realize that each and every single day, you're starting your day in not the best way. But then when you end your day, it's just a complete cycle of just negative thoughts. And I just wanted to say this because people that give up their careers so easily for someone else is because they don't know what they want sometimes. It could be the situation where it's either you or them that has to give up their career just so the other person is at least happy. But then also you need to know what it is that you want, because if that person is for you, you just need to communicate what you want, trust that person. You need to have something besides the person that you're with in a relationship, which you can call your own. I think that's all I really wanted to say for now. I thought I had something else to say, but it doesn't look like it. You can agree or disagree with me in this video, but it's really hard, and I don't really see myself giving up my career to be with someone, because you need to think about it this way. If someone can't really support you and they can't meet you halfway, then I don't really see why you would give up your career for someone else. But that's really my thoughts. You can let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, and I'll see you in another video.